Hi everybody, it's Tellali, and this is a Q&A video so you guys can know more about me and my new mixtape, ADHD. I put a few things on my Instagram story in the past week or so to give people an opportunity to ask me any question relating to Tellali or ADHD. Your favorite song off ADHD? Of course it changes, and I've had quite a while to listen to the project over the last few months, but right now it's Forfeit. Absolutely Forfeit. What was the most challenging track to create on this record? It was Forfeit because I had the idea for months and the beat was chosen and I had the concept laid out, but I just couldn't figure out what to write. Then things finally fell into place and I was able to figure out a good chorus and verses for it. Will the deep voice flow come back on future songs? Absolutely. I've been experimenting a lot more with this very deep tone since my song Clear Message in 2023 and Big Borrow and Steal, which was also made in 2023. So I decided to do it on Toxic, which I made back in 2023, and a few other ones like I did on No Need. I definitely plan to, I don't want to do it like on every song, but I definitely want to do it on quite a few more songs because I really do love that range. Where did you draw inspiration for the sound of this project? Osama Sun, Legion, Sky, OK, anybody who's a part of this new wave of this sound, all props and credit to them. Shout out every single producer on this project, 333 Sinks, YC, High Soulja, Ivy, just to name some. I'm so appreciative of every single beat because the songs wouldn't have been made possible without you. What's a song you weren't planning to put on the tape but eventually did? Probably Boot Up. Another song. I can't really figure it out, but most of them secured their spots months and months ago, so they were always intended for a project, but I didn't know it was going to turn into ADHD. What inspired you to make this project? Honestly, it was a mix of making super somber stuff after my breakup and some pop leaning stuff and then some other stuff I never really experimented with before. And then I just kept making like really aggressive, hard songs with these great beats. And I was like, let me just do a project. And instead of the other project I had in mind, let me do this new project. I'll call it ADHD, and it's going to be my most cohesive one in recent memory for me and the audience. And then I was just like, let's just do this first. Let's get the really hard-hitting, heavy stuff first. Even though subject matter-wise it's not heavy, I wanted to have the really aggressive, hard-hitting stuff first. Favorite lyric from each song and why? Good one. Update, I probably would say, I'm trying to move up, tell my mama I'm paid, because that's just honest truth. No hook, if you want to talk shit and you think you looking slick, cannot fuck with me, and I won't steal a bitch. Pop my shit, the whole thing. It's not that super lyric. So Strapped though, I'd say every lyric in Strapped I love. I think it's really hard hitting. Forfeit, what's the process when education shit out of words old-headed humans really make me sick? Aim it, I didn't say this part, but Nitro Ghoul on it said, you go low when you raise a fascist, and I totally agree. Who you looking for? I got different vices, nigga, where you coming from? Don't discriminate just because you don't know a ton. No Need, who you speaking to calling me a degenerate, because I've been called a degenerate and I see that all the time nowadays. Toxic, the whole song as well, because that's a very storyline based song. Fuck Do You Want, Call Me Ty, I mean the best. And then also, Don't Pop No Pills, Ain't No Perky Addict. Boot Up, feeling like Ella May wanna be Boot Up, because that was like one of my favorite songs back in 2018, and I think that song in general is also a great closer because it kind of leaves you with this like motivation to keep going, and that was the point of the entire song. Does the climate affect your songs? I'm assuming you mean like societal yes. This project especially too, and some of the songs I've released in the past few years, have definitely affected my songwriting and my lyrics, and also just what I want to talk about, because overall I think the world's very chaotic, and I think for me as an artist, writing helps me and it might help someone else, and I also just like to vent what my brain thinks of it. What is your favorite song in your music career so far? Oh, that's hard. There's been so many since 2016. I still think the Baiter I put out back in 2017 is very excellent. I think Forfeit on here, Strapped on ADHD. I would say Demons Bleeding from my Isolated Incidents mixtape. I have a lot. Next one is, how did you come up with the idea of your new mixtape? The idea, I said a bit earlier, was mainly based because I just had a lot of these hard-hitting songs, but like I said in the trailer, I have ADHD, a lot of other people do. I think it's very hyperactive music, it's very fitting for the project in general, and I just thought it was really a good idea to call it that. Who are you? I'm Tellali, and I'm a songwriter, an artist, a photographer, a creative from Minnesota. Process behind the ADHD track listing. Thank you for asking this one. When it comes to track listing, the process is usually months. Sometimes even if the project isn't long, I always go back and forth with like how it sounds sonically, how it sounds with just the titles, how it looks with the lyrics, how it sounds. Like, it all just depends, and it also just, I don't know, I just change my mind a lot, and that's like one of my favorite parts about putting projects together is the track listing aspect, because like there's just sometimes times where you just won't get it right, and then you finally get it, it's like, oh, why was I even thinking about it? You got any ADHD leftovers? Yes, there was a few songs that were on a track list at one point, and I just decided to cut it down to 11 songs. And I think they'll come out eventually, like maybe on SoundCloud or YouTube or something. There was one called Caged, another one called Punch In, and those were the two that I was like debating on keeping. But then I was like, they can come out at a different time. Do you refuse to forfeit? Yes. Where do you rank ADHD on your list of projects? In terms of cohesiveness, it's at the top. Overall, it's in probably the top 3. Because it's hard for me to rank stuff, so I'd probably say it's in the top 3. How has music changed your life, and what do you think about the landscape of music right now? Great question. Music was just in my life from as early as I remember, growing up on R&B and growing up on Avril Lavigne and Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears, but then getting my own taste and getting into pop music, and then getting into rap heavily, and getting into underground rap a lot more, and just getting into different genres over the years. I would say it keeps me going. It's just something that I can't really explain and put into words, besides it just evokes a feeling in me, even if it's not a super deep song. It's just something that just makes me excited. It keeps me going. And I would say the state of music right now, I personally am really excited about it. I think music's always evolving, no matter the genre, and I think it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing to like discover new people and outgrow artists and then grow into new ones and find people that you really resonate with, that you get to follow for so long. I think it's just a really in a good place. I think, of course, it gets oversaturated, which can be really difficult, especially for someone like me, because I have been making stuff for so long and having to market in an industry and a space where there's so many people trying to make it as well. It's definitely complicated. So I would say the state of music is complicated right now, but I think it's also just really exciting. What message do you want listeners to leave with after listening to ADHD? That it goes hard, and that, you know, I just won't give up, and I can make really hard-hitting songs, and if you listen to those lyrics, you'll understand what I'm saying. If you ever get the chance, what artist would you like to work with? Lady Gaga for sure. She got me into making music as a kid. I would love to work with any of my faves in general. I know they say don't meet your heroes, but I would just love to conversate, write, direct, record. I would just love to make music with anybody that I listen to and anybody that I just have a spark with. So honestly, anybody that I listen to. If you could only keep one song you've ever made, which one would it be and why? One song to keep? I plead the fifth. What do you do when you lose motivation? How do you get it back? Honestly, I just let it happen. I have to get writer's block, feel uninspired, feel just nothing sometimes, and then eventually all of a sudden it creeps back in, and then the spark hits again, and then it feels like nothing ever changed. Have you ever felt like giving up on music, and if so, what pulled you back in? All the time. I think when you've been making stuff and then you're actually putting it out as well, and then you invest a lot of money into it as well, that can get very frustrating and very discouraging. Especially when, like I said earlier, so many people are trying to make it, so many people want to have their stuff heard as they should, because there's a lot of good people that aren't getting recognition. Yeah, all the time, because it just gets very unmotivating sometimes. And what pulls me back in, that little Tyrese years and years and years ago that saw himself performing on stage, saw himself writing songs, saw himself doing music videos. And honestly, my circle, my family, my friends, people who even listen and bother checking it out, people who can give me a thing of advice or a compliment that sticks with me for the rest of my life, that's what keeps me going. Do you feel seen as an artist, or do you still feel invisible? I think I'm getting to a point where I'm starting to finally feel seen, but for many, many, many years, I felt very invisible and unseen and uncared about. Like, just no, I just have felt for a long time very not seen. Is your art more of a shield or a confession? A confession, because I would say for me, it's just a way to express my mind unfiltered, and also just be creative and come up with fictional stories and real non-fiction stuff and just vent and do, I think it's just a confession. It's a way to leave my heart on the floor and my voice in a song. If no one ever listened again, would you still keep making music? Yes, because at the end of the day, I always have to remind myself I am doing this for me, because I'm the one that gets up, writes the song. I don't produce it, but that doesn't mean I don't engineer it. It doesn't mean I don't listen back to it. I have to take my time recording myself, doing all of that. And it's honestly, it's like a hobby for me. So especially, I would keep doing it. Who has been your biggest influences in music? Definitely the people I listen to, my support circle, and those two for sure. What subjects do you like to make music about? Anything. And I've definitely had to open up and get out my comfort zone, especially even with this project and songs I put out on KS99 and other things. Sometimes it's just really like scared of like the side-eyeing and the judging and the 2 cents people give that you didn't ask for, but that comes with the territory I've accepted, and I just like to make it about anything because I don't see the point in holding myself back. What were some of the inspirations for this project? That sound I'm very addicted to. I think it's a really, 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 really fun, exciting, very polarizing sound that's not for everybody, but for me, it's very stimulating and it scratches my brain, so I absolutely love it. How much has your creative direction evolved from Lost Boy to ADHD? Thank you for that. Yeah, it's gonna be almost 9 years since Lost Boy this month. I've just gotten more confident in my singing, in my songwriting, in my lyrics, in my photography, my videos. I just think I've just gotten more passionate and gotten a lot more brave with not being scared of what the hell is gonna come from it and who else is gonna judge it. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I can't. How long did it take for ADHD to materialize? Because originally I was working on a project and I had something else in mind, and then the ADHD concept came to me, like I said earlier. So probably about over a year. Because after I released Chaos 99, I went on a little break. I knew I wanted to do nostalgia at a later date, which I did. And it was just, it just took a bit. I did some living, I had some heartbreak, I had some sickness, a lot of stuff in between, and that's honestly what took a bit. I'm glad with how it turned out. But yeah, it was probably about over a year. But ADHD itself, probably about 6-7 months. But yeah, I would like to say thank you to everybody who submitted questions. I'm definitely going to do another one of these in the future. And yeah, thank you. And lots more to come. And thank you for listening to ADHD. More music videos are on the way, more content and more. So thank you. Goodbye.